we drove into the first ambush point, and it's funny because I was on the back of the Sade truck, and I'm not going to talk a lot about what Sades do, but it has antennas sticking up all over it, so it's an obvious target. And most of the gun trucks that we had at the time had 240s mounted on the back on swing arms. This one did not. So it was senior airman signaler. What?
Fucking sitting duck.
Yeah, so I'm sitting in the open back with my M4. And so we pull up to the ambush point, and the guy on top swings around the Mark 19, the grenade launcher. That thing launches 2 rounds before it seizes up. So the first time I'd ever really been shot at, and the first time I ever shot back, the guy that was supposed to be covering down for the vehicle, his main goes down. He tells me to cover him. So I pop up over the top of the Humvee with my M4 and try to go to work. So, but it was good. Like that 1 week shooting school I went to, if you don't mind my shouting out.
Yeah. Shout them out.
Rifles only here in Texas. I could hear my instructor's voice in my head, and he was really good. So Andrew's voice was like, breathe, side alignment, side picture, everything, squeeze, and then keep your head on a swivel and maintain your situational awareness.
What was your kit at the time, loadout wise?
Oh, it was garbage.
What? And this was 06, 07?
06.
And so what were you carrying?
I had my plates and then the Rhodesian over the top of it. So I was carrying 6+1 M4 mags, and then the 2+1 M9 mags with we're still rolling with the Berettas. Jesus, fucking Berettas. Yep.
Did you dump your whole fucking loadout in that gun battle, or?
No, I went through a few mags. And then it's kind of an all-day affair. So we get up to the second point, and they're maneuvering on us, and they're calling in gun runs. And this is the first time that I found out that people actually cheer when A-10s come in and schwack all the bad guys. Yeah. I thought that was just a movie thing, but it's not. It's super exciting when it happens.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to the JTAC and all that, and then my radio loses its fill, and then we're running out of ammo. And we dumped a ammo truck back at a checkpoint, and so like, where's the weather guy? Because it was a beautiful day, so I didn't need to be like updating anybody on the weather. So they throw me in another Humvee.
Where's the weather guy?
To go get the ammo truck. So I jump in this other Humvee, and we go back through the first ambush line, and the main weapon, I think it was a 50, had been shot. So they throw me a thumper. So it's a 40 mic from like Vietnam, like from Terminator 2.
Fucking M79.
Wooden stock. Yep.
Yeah, fucking that's one of my favorite guns. How's that for old school?
Yeah,
I love that shit.
It bucks. And so we go back through the first ambush line, and then I hop out and I jump in the ammo truck and bring it back up to our line of Humvees up there and start handing out ammo. So, and then I was stuck driving that truck, and that had no doors, no armor, full of explosive and ammunition. So it was a pretty good.
Do you know what the circumstances were in terms of how they were ambushing you? How many people? What their kind of MO was, other than just fucking with you? I mean, if you can kind of walk us through, almost like it's a fucking movie scene, if you will, of you pull up and you start taking rounds from X, and then kind of that scenario, so we all understand kind of what you went through in that case. Yeah,
we crossed over a river past the checkpoint, and we're going down this valley, and on our right side there were these really tall mountains. On the left side, it kind of played out into a valley. So from our front and from our right, per direction we were driving, we got jumped by, they claim it was about 200 guys. And so we're taking small arms, PKM and RPGs. So we kind of sat in that first position for a while, the mad minute, and everybody dumps all their ammo and keeps shooting. Then a bunch of the Green Berets, they dismounted. They went and schwacked a bunch of people, and then I covered down on my vehicle, and then we moved up to the second point. So like there was a point where there was like a bazaar up there in this like valley where they were moving things through. And so we move up to like the edge of that valley, and then they hit us from another ambush point to the front of us. And then there's a bunch more A-10 gun runs and all that stuff. And then I actually ended up being rear security for the convoy at that point, because one of the other vehicles, like we're getting our main weapons shot up. So there's a bunch of 50s down and all that other kind of stuff. So I'm sitting in the back with my M4 just watching the back, and I remember at one point the whole vehicle kind of jumped, like something hit us, and I wasn't sure what it was, and I couldn't find it. And come to find out, when we got back to base 3 days later, I looked behind me, and someone tried to shoot me, I'm pretty sure with a Dragunov, because it went right through that 1/4-inch steel from the up armored Humvees, and it was right behind my head.
God damn.
I'm kind of glad I didn't know at the time, because I was just like, what just hit us? But, just keep doing your job.
Fuck, man. That's intense shit. So after that, did you keep, Well, two things, I guess. What was the ultimate reason you guys were there in the first place? Like, what was the objective to begin with? And then two, did you ultimately meet that objective, or did the ambush turn it into a long fucking gunfight and then you ended up going back?
No, it was about a 6-hour gunfight, but we did our job. I think they were moving supplies and personnel through that valley, through the Yakdan Bazaar. So half the team stayed on one side. After I'd come back with the resupply truck and distributed as much ammo as I could, and we kept fighting. And then after the end of that, half the team was moving to the other side of the valley to our Ron site. And this is the place where Adam Service had been killed and a bunch of other stuff had happened. It was a rough area. So my radio had lost its fill, the old emitters. So I had no crypto and I had no comms. And so I hop in my truck and I start driving across this valley with the guys that I'm assuming I'm supposed to be with. The truck in front of me turns around and goes back to the other half of the team. I can't communicate with anybody, so I'm just going to keep following the Humvee that's ahead of me. So I drive through this valley and we took some fire, and I think that's the only time I ever shot my M9 because I was just trying to keep someone's head. I had no doors. Yeah. And I remember in some of the training they talked about your femoral artery and how easy it is to bleed out from that, and the space you have on the side of your body armor. You don't want to get hit in the side of the ribs and tumble through your lungs and your heart and everything. So I'm slouched down in my chair, trying to shoot my M4 out the left door. I'm trying to throw rounds out my right door. I'm not hitting anything.
This is like gangbanger shit.
It was.
You got a pistol outside a doorless fucking vehicle.
Yeah, and but
why isn't that on the Air Force brochure?
I don't know.
It should be. God damn it.
I stranded some guys at a base one time because they were late, and I didn't tell them that if they were going to be late, there was a snowstorm moving in.
Yeah.
And so I remember they called me and they were like, "Bro, what happened?" And I was like, "I told you guys were late." And he's like, "Well, you could have told us that, like, if we were 3 minutes late, we weren't going to make it."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, you're right." So I jacked that up, and then I ended up having to stay up for like 56 hours because I didn't go to bed until they got back.
Is that something where you knew it would snow, or just like you didn't even look at it because you figured they wouldn't be late?
Yeah, I mean, you spend working for an organization like that. Like, I'm trying my hardest to make sure I know everything that's happening.
Yeah.
So I knew it was coming in, but like I was looking at the timelines, and these guys are notorious for being on their time.
Yeah.
So
they were only 3 minutes late and got caught in the snowstorm.
They were like 30 minutes late.
Yeah.
But like they were flying and they could see it moving in, and I was like, if you would have been on time, but it was still my bad for not telling them. So, that's one of those things that there's a bunch of missions lined up. They need to get back to where they need to be. And so I just sat there taking a call every 30 minutes. Is it clear? No. Is it clear? No.
Yeah.
But for those guys, it wasn't. It was easy.
Well, so that leads me to naturally think, why do so many of the dipshits on the news get it wrong so often?
I don't know. They don't care.
Is that what it is? Just fucking apathy?
Well, and they're forecasting for large areas. And the way that civilians forecast for civilians is much different. Like a 30% chance of rain means something like 30% of that area could see rain during this long period of time. Where I'm taking a small amount of time at certain flight levels for particular missions and telling them exactly what's going to happen during those times.
So yours is ultra specific, whereas they're hyper specific, whereas theirs is kind of ultra generic.
Right.
All right, well, that makes sense. Do you ever like watch the news and talk shit to the same way that like I would watch a fucking movie and critique tactics? Do you ever watch fucking meteorologists and talk a bunch of shit?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a nerd. I'll look at my phone, and the tendency for all the weather models that are run by the computers is they're always trying to catch up, or they're trying to forecast into a certain condition.
Yeah.
And so my everybody around me will be like, "You're such a nerd," but like you'll see if something happens and the event was way worse, or it didn't happen the way that it was supposed to, according to the computer, it will adjust and then over forecast that event next time.
Huh.
And unless you're tracking all these things, you're going to be like, "Oh man, it's going to be like 32 degrees tomorrow." I'm like, it's not going to be 32. It's 5 degrees off.
All jokes aside, it's fun to fuck with the weatherman, so to speak, but it's important shit. Before we close out here, I do want to mention and show to the audience, if you're watching on YouTube, is he brought a coin, and if I'm going to hold that up. So if you could explain the coin, where it came from as much as you can. I know some of it details you can't, but
yeah. So it's the back end of a 30 millimeter shell from an AC-130. And when we were staging out of Kuwait, we were kind of co-located with the AC-130 folks, and we helped them out with some stuff, and they helped us out with some stuff. And then this is from a flight they took into Syria to support some people doing some really cool stuff. So, we got to see the video and they gave us all these coins because we were kind of had this, we didn't actually work together, but you know how it is. You get overseas and, hey, is there anything we can do? And they were really cool about it. So they gave us all one of those coins. And, I'm not one of those people that tries to hold on to everything. I give books away and all that other stuff. So I thought that was fairly unique and you could put it on your thing.
I can very comfortably say that this is the coolest and most unique coin anybody's ever given me, and one that for 1,000% sure I will cherish and hold dear my whole fucking life. This is awesome. To know that this is the back of a 30 millimeter that smoked somebody's ass in fucking Syria is beyond priceless, and I can't thank you enough for bringing it. That's a cool fucking story, man. I love it.